full of bullshit, and we're here to call it out. Real talk, raw truth, and plenty of spice. Welcome to She Who Thrives.
We're your hosts, Caitlin,
Mindy,
and Harrison.
And learning to love yourself can honestly be one of the most difficult things, but it's so important. And on today's episode, we want to just get real about some of the struggles we as women face with self-love and offer some practical advice on navigating life, learning to love yourself, and just thriving. So this one's for anyone who's ready and willing to take that first step towards loving themselves.
I think the way that we see ourselves shapes everything. It shapes our confidence, our relationships, our choices. And so many women struggle with self-love. They compare it. There's a lot of pressure. They put everybody else first. So learning to love yourself is about reclaiming your worth, remembering that you deserve love without conditions. It's ongoing and it's going to look different for everybody. It's not everyone's self-love isn't going to look the same, and the way you practice self-love may not look the same as your neighbor or your best friend or whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't feel like it's just about the bubble baths and massages and face masks. I mean, those definitely help, but I feel like it's deeper when you get into like respect and boundaries and acceptance and kindness to yourself and just valuing who you are as a person.
Yeah, I think, society really praises self-sacrifice, but self-love, putting yourself first, is considered selfish. And loving yourself is honestly the least selfish thing that you can do, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And when you love yourself and you take care of yourself, you show up 100 times better for those that you love.
Totally agree.
I agree. This just came to my mind. I think it's so funny, especially for women, if you're out doing something, whether it be dinner with your friends or maybe you go get drinks at the bar or whatever, the first thing that people think of is where are her kids.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man is doing that, they're not thinking that. They're not thinking who's watching his kids for him.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, who's babysitting? Oh, your husband's babysitting?
Yeah.
No, he's being a dad. Yeah. He's doing what he should be doing. Why can't we have that time,
Yeah, he's watching his own kids. He's not babysitting them.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. I just think it's so funny because people think that all the time. And there's like almost like a stigma behind it that women should always put themselves last, or maybe not last, but definitely not first. They should always put their husband first, their kids first. But like Caitlin said, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give and give and give if there's nothing for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you guys feel like self-love is for you individually or personally?
If I think about that, I think at the end of the day, like if I can look in the mirror and like really like and love the person that I see looking back at me, I feel like that's my way of knowing, I still have things throughout even like today when I was talking to you, I'm going through like some health things in my life right now. And some of the things that they're having me do, I'm dropping weight, which I didn't have weight to drop, but like, I feel like my ass is like a pancake right now. And I told Caitlin, I'm like, I have a flat ass. I've had to work to get a booty. And like, now I feel like it's just dissolving and, but so there's that negative talk in my head, like, okay, little flat ass, but
no,
but then like Kate said, she's like, Mom, I can see all your muscles in your arms when you move. And I'm like, okay, like now when I'm able to go back to the gym, I'm just going to build that up and I'm just going to be stronger and it'll be easier to get it back. But at the end of the day, for me, it is, we're still going to struggle with little things. Mm-hmm. But as long as you're working each day to better that. And at the end of the day, like I said, if I can stand in the mirror and think, I'm a good human, I really like who I am. That's what it's about to me.
Yeah.
And I think too, not just physically, but that you're a good human, like inside, like
that's what I'm meaning. It's in here.
Yeah.
What do you guys think are some of the, what about you? You didn't answer.
I'm still thinking. I don't know. What do you think, Harrison?
I agree with like, I personally know I'm a good person because I've been wronged so many times by people. And I'm like, I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel like sometimes like certain things hurt my feelings and I know that they don't hurt other people's feelings, and it's because I know I care about people in a different way than maybe some people care about me or care about others. That's not really self-love
I
though.
don't think that's true. What you're saying, I feel like you just have a different outlook on life than most people. I feel like for how young you are, you express yourself very well, whether it's an argument with somebody or you're trying to help somebody. Like the text that I've seen you exchange with people, like you're very good, you're very well spoken, and you're very good at saying things that make people feel, even if you want to be like, F you,
Yeah.
you don't do that.
Yeah.
You're so kind about how you go about things and how you speak to people and how you deliver your message. So,
And I think it comes down to though is I don't want to offend those specific people because I don't want to hurt their feelings. But I sometimes feel like if it were reversed, they would
Would they do
not.
that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that I had to do for my mental health was realizing that regardless of the person or the situation, the relationship, you can't expect you from other people. Like
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, well, if I would treat you this way or I would do that, like I expect that from you, but at the end of the day, you can't.
because we're not all the same,
Right.
and we can't hold, everybody is living their first life here, and like you said, you got to give grace to people because we're not all the same, even though sometimes you wish people were more like you or they did things like you or whatever. We're not all the same. But did we get totally away from the topic?
Yeah, we did. I think.
I would.
Squirrel.
That
I
was
don't remember what the question even was.
I
No.
don't
The
know
question
either.
was, what does self-love look like to you personally?
I think for me, it's about realizing that, there are some bad days without just getting stuck in that mindset and knowing how to get yourself out of that. Like it's progress over perfection, and everybody's human. We all have bad days, but one bad day does not mean, you're not taking steps towards your goals or towards loving yourself or, whatever that may be.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree too.
I think like the biggest barriers, the biggest complications for learning to love yourself or figuring out, I was just going to say the same thing I just said. But for me, like I said, the negative self-talk, I feel like I should be further along than I am right now. I don't feel like I'm good enough for this. I think that creeps up in so many people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a huge one that I think everybody needs to work on.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of any things that like block that?
Keep from that happening.
Yeah, like put up barriers.
I was going to ask that too. I don't really know. Because I know that's something that I really struggle with. Like even with my cookies, I know I've said this, I'll have an order and I'll feel really good about it, and then I'll be like, oh well, what if they don't like this, what if they don't like that, what if it's not, could I have done this better? And then you get a message or review about how much it was enjoyed and loved and this and that, and you're like, well, other people are saying these nice things and they believe in me, why can't I feel that way?
You can't do anything better with your cookies.
They're so good.
Thank you.
I think even with this podcast though, like I don't know about you guys, but me, I was like nervous. Like, are people going to think it's dumb? Are they going
Mm-hmm.
to make fun of it? Or is it even going to help people? And then, we released our first episode that was really just simple, just kind of explaining each person and where we're from or whatever. And people were like, oh, I love it so much. Then the next one, we had so much love and support. And it's like, okay, like I need to stop doubting myself and just do it.
Yeah.
We all did that with the first one because
Yeah.
that night, Adam was like, "Did any of you post about it?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Why? Like, what are you guys afraid of? Did you do it to hide it from everyone?" And I was like, "You have a good point.
Well,
Like,
actually,
what are we doing? Like, yeah, you can think it's stupid. That's okay. We're doing this
Yeah.
for us. We like to talk to each other. We have fun together. Like, who cares what other people think?
If you don't want to listen, don't listen.
You don't have to turn it on."
Yeah.
What about like body image?
I feel like that comes in like ebbs and flows for me, especially because like there was a point in my life, like in high school, I was like, did not love myself. When I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, I'm just so skinny. I don't like this. Started going to the gym. I felt like that helped me gain so much confidence. Then I got pregnant. My whole pregnancy, I really, really struggled because I was like, I had never gained weight. And then all of a sudden it was just like packing on. I felt like so fast. And I was like, who is this person? And then postpartum is like a whole nother monster in itself. And now I feel like I'm kind of back in that spot. Well, actually, after postpartum, the first time I feel like is when I was the most confident I had ever been, when I was coaching with Adam and I like really saw changes and I was able to put a lot of weight on that was muscle. And I was so, so proud of that. And now I feel like I'm like starting all over again, being postpartum and just remembering like, okay, I am going through the busiest time in my life right now. Chasen's the busiest he's been with work. Our kids are crazy busy. Like, I just need to give myself grace and not be like, you need to get back in the gym right this second, and just realize that it's a phase of life and giving yourself grace is different than just being lazy.
I promise though, and I know this doesn't help you feel any better at the moment, but when you're my age, you'll look back and you'll be like, fuck, I wish I had that body that I had back then.
Yeah.
Like now I think like how hard I was on myself always. And I'm like, I should have walked around naked back then. Like, what?
Yeah.
I would give anything to have that back now. Now it's like so much harder. I think after you hit a certain age, it's like so much harder to maintain and to keep that,
For sure.
Yeah.
And for me, a big thing with me is, Adam is so into fitness and, competing for a long time, and him with our age difference, that has been a really hard one for me because I felt like I had to maintain, not from him.
Yeah.
Right.
Never from him. He is the kindest. I don't want to talk about him right now because I really miss him.
Oh.
Give me. Sorry, he's been gone for too long. He's on a moose hunt in Alaska. You guys know how he is. He's wonderful, and he compliments me all the time, and but for myself, it was like, well, people look at him and he's this, I have to keep up with that. I'm his wife,
Mhm.
and I'm 14 and a half years older than him. And I don't want people looking at me and going, why is he married to that old, wrinkly, saggy hag? Like,
Yeah, but nobody thinks that. And when people find out your guys' age and your age difference, people are like, they would never know that you're,
Right.
I don't want to say as old as you are,
well,
but
I
that's
know
the
that.
truth.
A
but
grandma.
I really struggled with that
Yeah,
at first.
I can
Not
see
so
why you
much
would.
now. I mean, I still am like, hey, you got to go. You can't eat cookies like he does, because I know if I eat cookies the way he does, I'm going to be a blimp. Like, there's certain things I just don't
Yeah.
do that he does, but
Well, nobody eats cookies like Adam does.
No, holy crap.
It's almost disgusting.
I think I probably did for a minute after I had Ava.
I've never seen someone put away cookies like that.
Yeah.
I think though also with the body image, growing up, I mean, I had a wonderful childhood. Both parents are amazing, and everybody that knows them would say the same thing. I cannot say one negative thing about my parents, but my mother, I hate when people say da da da, but my mom always talked about, like, she was always critical about her weight. And I think that's something that really stuck with me, and I started like young. I remember being in high school and being like, okay, I've got to get up and I've got to do my buns of steel, and I've got,
P90X.
I did
I
that.
did that, yeah.
Kickboxing, all that crap, Billy Blanks. And But then I carried that on and was
I remember,
so
yeah.
negative in my head. And I remember talking to you when you got older, and I was like, that is one of the worst things that I did. And I told Caitlin, do not do that because Brecklin is watching you.
Yeah.
You know, that is so, we're so critical about ourselves. And when we say things out loud, like our kids pick up on that so easily.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I carried it from my mom, and then you carried that from me, and that's shitty. Like,
I
Well,
remember
you're
you hiding the scale from me. I don't even know how old I was at that point. You were like, no, I'm going to get rid of this. You're not going to look at it every day. That's not healthy. We're not doing that.
yeah, yeah. Where do you think, like, just even like people pleasing? I feel like that's a huge barrier for self love.
I feel like I completely, when I was pregnant with Brixton, there was something that had happened. And I finally was like, look, I don't want this for my future family. I'm not going to put up with crap like this anymore. I'm not going to people please. I'm going to set this boundary. And if this person or people don't respect that boundary, they don't get to be in my life anymore. And I truthfully feel like that is when my life changed. Like, completely changed for the better.
They always say, I think a lot of times you feel like, especially if it's family, that you have to like put up with it and tolerate it because it is family. I mean, I'm thankful we don't have that in our family. We're all tight and we don't have that, but there's so many families that do. And I think that's the very best thing you can do, family or not. Like there's a certain point where things aren't healthy and you just have to cut it out. You have to put those boundaries up. And that's kind of on another tangent. We went from people pleasing to like
Boundaries. I feel like boundaries and people pleasing kind of go hand in hand.
they do.
And I think, yeah, boundaries are one of the most important things when it comes to self love and all of it. I know for me, I had to set a boundary with, I don't even know if it was a boundary. It was kind of like, that's it with, with a friend. And I also feel like that's when my mental health changed. But like somebody who was the best friend I ever had, and then to have literally the ultimate betrayal and still after like let this person manipulate and gaslight me so much, and it still took me a
And I
long
didn't listen to my mom.
I know I should have, but it took me a long time even after that
You
to
have to figure it out on your own.
yeah, but to
I feel
finally be
like
like, enough.
the hardest thing for me was like, even when someone did me dirty, I'm like, why do I feel bad for them?
Yeah, that's how I
Like, why
felt.
do I feel like, oh, well, hopefully their feelings don't get hurt? It's like,
Yeah,
why
why
do
am
I
I
feel
apologizing to you?
exactly?
I know when kids are little, it's hard to make yourself a priority. You have to really think about that. Probably not everyone, but I know all three of us, that's been a struggle.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like the older you guys got, now it's just Adam and I. And of course, he's a priority, but I also have time to prioritize myself and do things for me. Um, I think one of the hard things with having kids, even, we've talked about this numerous times, but, even like forgetting to eat throughout the day because you're so busy taking care of kids. And then you're like, wow, I feel like I'm going to pass out. Oh, yeah, I haven't eaten for 24 hours.
Why am I so grumpy? Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember going to a therapist and he was life changing for me, but I had been through a lot of stuff. And I remember him saying to me, because you guys were such a priority to me. And, even being single, it's like, okay, I wanted to make sure that when you were with me, I was focused on you guys, and he said to me one time, what are you if you're not a mom? And I just started to sob. And I'm like, I literally felt like if I wasn't a mom, I was nothing.
Mhm.
And I had to take a hard look at that because I'm like, my kids are eventually going to be gone one day. Am I going to be okay with being nothing in my
Yeah.
eyes? And so that was a huge trigger reset for me of you need to learn to like yourself first and then love yourself because that's going to be a really sad life when your kids leave.
Well,
Yeah.
even when you had said that, I don't know if you'd call it a quote, but the other day I was actually thinking about it and I was like, what am I if I'm not a mom? Because I feel like I have been so stuck in this routine and I need to still find time for myself. And I was actually thinking on the way here, I was like, okay, even if the only time that I could go to the gym would be 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, I'm going to do it because I've put it off for way too long. And usually when 5 a.m. rolls around, I'm like, hell no, because
Yes.
I've been up all night long and I don't want to go, but I know that I will feel so much better just about myself if I'm like, I got up, I went, and I can take a 30-minute nap later on in the day. And if I don't, well, it was still worth it. I got my body moving and it did something for my mind and for me. So I think that if you were to ask me who I am with if I'm not a mom 6 months ago, I probably could have answered it. But now I kind of feel like I'm stuck in that part again where I'm like, I don't know who I am when I'm not a mom.
Yeah.
And I need to take that back.
I feel like the first thing that I, finally did for myself outside of being a mom, was my cookies in
Mhm.
2022, and then again with real estate. And I feel like since I've started those things, like genuinely, I feel like I have grown a ton.
You have.
You have.
I mean, that's apparent to everyone around you. Your growth has been substantial in all aspects.
Yeah.
Boobs are bigger. What are some practical ways that you guys can think of to show self-love?
To show self love,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of yourself, even if it's the small things. Like you said, okay, the kids can wait 5 minutes. I haven't eaten all day. I have to eat something.
Drinking your water,
Yeah.
watching not that you need to watch what you eat. I don't think that that's a good thing to put in anybody's head.
Good
But I
food,
think
food
just-
that fuels
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It's not like you have to be like, oh, I can't have this treat today. Have the treat. But I think just like you said, filling your body with good food that makes you feel good and gives you the energy that you need throughout the day, whether you have kids or you don't have kids. I think that's such a huge important thing that so many people miss. They're like, oh, I feel like shit. And I'm like, yeah, but it's because the only thing that you've had today is a coffee and Zen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be at my husband and brother-in-laws. They're like, oh, okay, you've had a coffee and Zen today. Like, let's put some food in there and then we can reevaluate. Like, seriously.
No wonder you're shaking like a leaf right now.
I feel like a big, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that a lot of people don't, do the small things or practice that self-love because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I don't have the time or, I can't take it an hour to go do this or go do that. But like we said, it can be the small things like take 5 minutes to feed yourself or, take 5 minutes in a freaking quiet room, lock the door.
I know on the way here, I was like, I didn't listen to anything. The car ride was silent. I was like, oh, this feels so great. I just want to stay in the car.
Yeah.
I think a big one is surrounding yourself with good people
Mhm.
that have good energy, that when you leave those people, you feel good.
Mhm.
I try and listen to a sermon online on Sundays, and it's just a non-denominational, whatever. Somebody had told me about a preacher guy, so I went and listened to one of his, and I freaking loved it. And he said on there, he was like, husbands, let your wives go do things with good women. Because when you let them go do that, when they come home, they're going to be better all around. Those women are going to feed their souls. They're going to be better wives. They're going to be better mothers. They're going to be a better woman. Women need that
Mhm.
and do too. But, I think a lot of times women get left in the dark with that because you're taking care of kids and you're da-da-da. And I think that's a big one that we overlook a lot of times.
Yeah.
I just think you feel so refreshed. Like when I went out with Bear to the movie and dinner, I was gone. I mean, I was gone for like 3.5 hours, but when I came home, I was like so happy. I was excited. I felt like I could like actually breathe. I wasn't like this. I had more patience.
Mhm.
And I just feel like if that was something I could do consistently and almost have it like a once a month thing or whatever, like I think it would be huge for me. And I think that it would be huge for anybody, really.
Yeah.
Another big one for me, a huge one for me, probably number one for me, is to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
I think, doing therapy, and it is so easy to look at all the places in your life where you have effed up big time and to let them creep up and just kick you in the butt over and over and over again, and I've made lots of mistakes, and I'm not proud of those mistakes, but
You own them.
I
Yeah.
totally will own them. I hope I get forgiveness from people that I have, hurt along the way, but I have forgiven myself for that. I have changed. I have grown from those mistakes, and that was really hard to let go of that and to think you don't have to have that shame and guilt lingering right here all the time. You can let that go. People still will look and know and judge, and that's fine. They can have their thoughts about it. And that was huge, is to let go. And I'm not going to say that all the time. There's times where it'll pop up, and I'm like, I was having a conversation the other night with your dad. I mean, he wasn't like here, he's
I was like, who are we talking about here?
he's passed away. But, I was just carrying on a conversation with myself, knowing that he was hearing it, and just like once again apologizing for things. There was things on both ends, but on my portion of that,
Mhm.
And I know I've been forgiven as well as he has.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to say it never sneaks up. But this on my shoulder weighing me down is gone. I think that's a huge thing we can do.
I think so too. I still struggle with that. And it's just like at random moments. And I feel like half of the time it's stuff that I shouldn't. I think that goes in with the people pleasing, because it's stuff that I shouldn't even feel bad about. Like, you set a boundary for yourself and somebody's heard about it. Why do I feel so bad?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is guilt and shame around mistakes. Like, is that going to eat me up forever? I know I've made that right. I know I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah. I think it's also important to celebrate your wins, whether they're small or big.
Mm-hmm.
A win is a win, and I think every win is worth celebrating.
Even if you just turn up your music and give yourself a little jig.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a big celebration. It can be a little one.
Yeah.
I high five myself
celebrate.
sometimes. You did that.
Good job, girl.
Yeah,
You
I
made it
do.
through the day without crying.
Yeah, you go, girl.
Oh, man.
You have to sometimes.
So true.
Yeah, I think with a lot of that, like we said, like therapy and journaling
Mhm.
and those kind of things, are important. And sometimes we just forget to do those little things that I think can help so much. Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is a big one. Can you guys think of anything else off the top of your head?
Affirmations.
It's so funny. I feel like affirmations is such a big thing for people, but I am like the least affirmation type person there is.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, I think it's just because I hate reading. Like, I freaking hate to read.
I mean, you can like memorize them and then you don't have to read them.
Then you just say it, yeah.
I used to have mine memorized. I told Brecklin all of the ones I had one day, but now mine are like this long, so I read them.
Yeah, me too.
So funny. I would literally rather eat dirt than read a book.
Wow.
And it's so funny I bring that up because when I was younger, I had a stepdad. I've had a couple step parents, but one stepdad in particular, we were having dinner and he said, "You will eat this food or you will go outside and you will eat a spoonful of dirt." And I said, "Hand me the damn spoon." And I went and ate a whole spoonful of dirt from the back.
Shut up. Oh my gosh.
I was like, I am not eating whatever you put on this plate. I proved a point. I'll eat dirt if I have to.
Oh my gosh, that is funny.
What do you guys, this is not like one of our topics, but what do you feel like is something that helped you gain confidence within yourself, whether it be physically, emotionally, or just in general?
I think mine would be like setting a big goal and smashing it. Even if it took a while, like once you accomplish it, it feels pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Especially if it's hard and it's something that you're like, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not.
I feel like that was probably how you felt with your real estate stuff. I've heard that's a pretty hard thing to like. That test is hard.
Yeah. That was hard. I was not in a good place mentally then either, and it was so hard to get myself to just stick with it. What does a perfect self-care, self-love day look like to you? Could be anything.
I would say wake up whenever my body wakes up, eat my breakfast, make yummy coffee, go to the gym, probably do like some outdoor walk not when it's hot in the summertime. This is a fall perfect day.
Mm-hmm.
So then maybe go for like an outdoor walk and then go to Earth Spa, which is like red light therapy, cold plunging, sauna. Come home, shower, rot in bed for the rest of the day. Maybe take a bubble bath. It would just be silent all day. That would be a perfect day. And then probably to end the day, I'd watch a show like Vampire Diaries because it's fall. So we have to rewatch the series and cuddle, chase, and go to bed.
I'm going same start.
Yeah.
Wake up, no alarm clock, just when my body wakes up. And I'm going to go through all my little rituals, my red light, my affirmations, my goals, my journaling. And then I think mine would be same gym, no coffee, pre-workout for me. Gym, come home, stretch. I think then I would shower and go to Zion. I'm going to do mine in Zion, but it's going to be when it's warmer because I'm going to go to Zion because I love it's so peaceful up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the spa there.
By yourself?
No, I would take Adam.
Okay.
Get some treatments at the spa and then lay by the pool, read a good book, have a really nice dinner somewhere, go back to the room, shower again. Yup. Bone, go to bed.
3 times.
No, not 3 times. Just, 3 times.
That's a
Just
good
more than a quickie.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't say I like having a quickie every time. I'm
She
just
doesn't want to
saying.
be sore.
I would not want to do it depends on how long would you say a marathon session is? Like how many minutes are we talking? Is a marathon session?
30, 45.
Oh.
Hour.
Yeah, I would say a marathon session would be like an hour. That's a long time. That's exhausting, especially because I'm usually on the top.
Yeah,
That's
but only
a lot of work.
one of your body parts is really going to hurt.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I had to do it every day for a year, that's a long time. But a quickie depends on how long a quickie session is to somebody.
You want to know something funny? I was talking to somebody today and somebody else was at that person's house and they were like, we're giving up chocolate. And I was like, what? They were talking about our podcast. I was like, you're really giving up? I mean, no, they weren't giving up chocolate. They were keeping chocolate. I'm like, you're really keeping chocolate?
It's probably because they've never had an orgasm before, so they're giving that up because it's like giving up nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to comment on that, but
It makes a difference.
I know the backstory, but I'm not sharing.
Oh.
What's your perfect day?
I go back and forth. My start would be the same way. Morning rituals, no alarm, go out in the garage and work out, but I would take pre-workout and coffee. And probably an Alani later.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's Kate. My
You
tummy
need
hurts.
a detox.
I know, I do.
600 milligrams of caffeine a day
Yeah.
over here.
Caffeine every 2 hours. A shower. I don't know because fall is just my favorite time, so it would probably be in the fall. But also, if I think of like a perfect day, it would just be like there in St. George with all of you, like all of us at the pool together.
Mm-hmm.
That is good for my heart. Anything involving, yeah, anything involving sunshine or outdoors, unless it was here in Missouri, that would be the least perfect day because I'd be sweating from the humidity.
It's so bad when I see the kids when they're outside and I'm like, you literally look like you just got hosed off.
It's so sad.
Ew.
It's so sad. Gilmore Girls probably fall time. Just
Not One
binge-
Tree Hill?
I mean, yeah, but One Tree Hill's like all the time. Gilmore Girls is more fall.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
You have to watch it. You have to.
I'll try an episode.
Yeah.
I started Dancing with the Stars last night.
Me too. I was going to ask you. Just because
you
of
know,
Whitney and Jen.
Braxton texted me today. And
Again?
He's
He's
like,
on a season 3-er.
he
He
said,
loves his mommy.
do you remember when we used to binge watch Dancing with the Stars? I was like, yeah, why? And then he said some girl had mentioned it. And I said, I remembered when I was younger that I'd lay in your bed and we'd binge watch it. I just wondered if you remembered.
Want to know something
Like,
cute?
yes, I loved when you guys laid in my bed with me.
Chasen said the same thing. Chasen introduced me to The Bachelor.
Because of her.
He's like, I used to watch this with my mom. I was like, I've never even heard of this show.
I tell Luis about that all the time. That was like, because the kids love to do that with us now, to sit on the couch, everybody together, or lay in here, and pick a show or something. And I'm like, those are like the best times with my mom. I just told him that like yesterday, just laying in her bed or sitting on the couch watching our show, whatever night of the week, whatever was on.
It's funny because you hear some people that they're not even allowed in their parents' room. They have to knock before they can even come in, and don't you dare sit, lay on my bed with me, which, I'm like, okay, I don't want you laying on my comforter, but I'm like, no, you're welcome in here if the door is open.
I feel like that was my favorite memories too. Like with my dad,
Mhm.
he always, in the wintertime, which he lives up north, he'd always open all the windows like in our bedrooms and his bedroom. So it'd be like so cold. We loved sleeping in the freezing cold. But in the morning, we'd all go in and get in his bed with our TTs and watch cartoons in the morning.
Oh, that's
It's
sweet.
the best.
Okay, we've squirreled a little bit through this episode, but that's what we do best. Just squirreling away. And
Still.
And Mindy's going to give us our tip of the week.
oh, you're going to announce it?
Yeah.
This week's tip is to treat yourself the way you treat the people you love the most. We're usually quick to show compassion, grace, and kindness to others, but when it comes to us, we forget to do that.
Mhm.
So next time you catch yourself being critical, pause and think, hey, would I say this to someone I love? And if the answer is no, then don't say it to yourself. Self-love starts with changing the voice inside your own head.
Thanks for hanging out with us on today's episode of She Who Thrives. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. We'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode. But until then, remember, no matter what you're doing in life, do it to the best of your ability and always strive to thrive.